The Vralakix scout vessel hovered at the edge of the Tau Ceti system, its crystalline hull reflecting starlight in prismatic patterns. Commander Drozax clicked his mandibles nervously as the sensor readings confirmed what he'd feared. An unknown ship had entered their newly claimed territory. Classification, he demanded. 6 eyes fixed on the main view screen. Unknown configuration, Exalted 1. Tactical Officer Menef responded, her tendrils writhing in confusion. But the energy signature suggests primitive fusion propulsion. Their weapons appear to be kinetic-based with minimal energy shielding. Drozax's mouth parts formed what passed for a smile in his species. The Vralakix Dominion had conquered 17 systems in their expansion, encountering nothing but primitive species unable to resist their quantum weaponry and psionic abilities. This would be no different. Origin, he asked, mandibles clicking in anticipation. A system called Sol. 3rd planet. The inhabitants refer to themselves as humans. The bridge crew chittered with amusement. Another backward species to subjugate. Prepare targeting solutions. Let's demonstrate our superiority immediately. The warship Unyielding Dominance moved forward, its massive form dwarfing the human vessel. Their sensors locked onto the human warship, what the humans designated UES Thermopylae, a battlecruiser that appeared crude and boxy compared to the elegant Vralakix vessel. Captain Talvek Reiner stood on the bridge of the Thermopylae, his weathered face illuminated by the red alert lights. At 53, he'd seen humanity's first faltering steps into interstellar space, commanded ships in the Mars Separatist conflict, and survived 2 first-contact scenarios. But something about this alien vessel made his spine tingle. "They're scanning us, sir," Lieutenant Aurora Ndlovu reported from Tactical. "Energy spikes suggest weapon charging." Reiner nodded calmly. Status of the Baskerville Protocol. His XO, Commander Ixmal Vazquez, checked his console. "Ready and waiting, Captain." "They have no idea." "Let them make the first move," Reiner ordered. "Standard diplomatic channels remain open." The alien vessel fired, a brilliant lance of quantum energy that should have vaporized the human ship instantly. Instead, the beam seemed to bend around the Thermopylae, dissipating harmlessly into space. On the Vralakix ship, Commander Drozax chittered in confusion. "Report. Weapon impact negative, Exalted 1. Their hull, it's not registering properly on our sensors anymore." "Impossible." Drozax slammed his appendage on the control panel. "Fire again, full spectrum." Back on the Thermopylae, Reiner's lips curved into a grim smile. "They've crossed the line. Implement Baskerville Protocol, Phase 1. Let's educate our new friends about humanity's technological capabilities." "Aye, Captain," Vazquez responded, initiating a sequence on his console. The supposedly primitive human ship suddenly disappeared from Vralakix sensors completely, only to reappear moments later, directly behind the alien vessel. "What devilry is this?" Drozax shrieked as proximity alarms blared throughout his ship. The answer came in the form of a transmission. Captain Reiner's face appeared on their view screen, expression calm but resolute. "This is Captain Talvek Reiner of the United Earth ship Thermopylae. You have initiated hostile action against a diplomatic vessel of the Terran Alliance. We suggest you reconsider your approach to first contact situations. We are sending documentation on proper diplomatic protocols. You have 30 seconds to power down your weapon systems." Drozax stared in disbelief. The primitive humans had somehow developed technology that rendered their quantum weapons useless and their advanced sensors blind. His mandibles clicked rapidly in what his species recognized as fear. This was not the easy conquest he had anticipated. Not at all. Commander Drozax's compound eyes dilated in alarm as tactical displays showed the Thermopylae deploying something his sensors couldn't properly categorize. Dozens of small objects detaching from the human vessel. "Missiles?" he asked, voice vibrating with tension. "Negative, Exalted 1. His science officer Teklev responded. "They appear to be drones, but they're exhibiting quantum entanglement patterns our systems cannot track." The human captain's face remained on screen, expression unchanged. "Your time is running out, Commander." Power down your weapons. Pride overwhelmed Drozax's caution. The Vralikiks had never surrendered to a lesser species. It would disgrace their entire empire. Rotate shield harmonics. Fire all batteries. Multiple energy beams lanced toward the human ship. This time, the Thermopylae didn't evade. Instead, the mysterious drones intercepted each beam, somehow absorbing the energy. Captain Reiner shook his head. I see diplomacy isn't your strong suit. Very well. Aboard the Thermopylae, Lieutenant Ndlovu looked up from her station. Odin system fully deployed, Captain. Raven units in position. Execute Phase 2, Reiner ordered calmly. The swarm of human drones, relativistic advanced vector engagement nodes, or Ravens, suddenly accelerated toward the Vralikic ship at impossible speeds. They didn't impact the hull. Instead, they phased partially through it, embedding themselves at strategic points throughout the alien vessel. On the Vralikic's bridge, systems began shutting down one by one. What's happening? Drozax shrieked. The human devices are communicating with our systems, Teklif reported in disbelief. They're speaking directly to our quantum processors in their native architecture. That's impossible. No species has ever deciphered Vralikic's computational matrices. Commander Vasquez's voice came through the comm system, now broadcasting directly to every station on the alien ship. Your systems are now under our partial control. This is not an attempt at conquest, merely a demonstration. Had we wished to destroy you, those same drones could have initiated a cascading quantum collapse in your drive core. Drozax's mandibles trembled. How? Your species should be barely capable of interstellar travel. On the Thermopylae, Reiner exchanged a knowing glance with his officers. The Baskerville Protocol, humanity's hidden technological edge, had again proven its worth. After humanity's disastrous first contact with the Grath Imperium 50 years earlier, which nearly resulted in Earth's subjugation, humans had learned a crucial lesson. Appear weaker than you are. You misunderstand humanity, Commander, Reiner explained. We've maintained a deliberate technological camouflage for decades. What you see as primitive fusion drives, merely a facade. Our actual propulsion systems operate on principles your scientists haven't yet theorized. Drozax's color drained from vibrant purple to a sickly gray. The Dominion must be informed of this threat. We are not a threat, Reiner countered firmly. Unless you make us one. Now, shall we begin again with proper diplomatic protocols? Or shall my crew demonstrate more of humanity's hidden capabilities? The Vralikic's commander looked at his disabled ship, his frightened crew, and made the first surrender decision in his species' modern history. We will communicate diplomatically, he managed, voice barely audible. Reiner nodded. Excellent choice. Raven units, disengage control systems, but maintain monitoring protocols. As systems returned to Vralikic's control, Drozax realized with growing horror that the humans had just reshaped the balance of power in this sector of space, without firing a single conventional shot. 3 days into negotiations aboard the neutral space station Unity Point, Commander Drozax was still struggling to comprehend the full implications of humanity's technological capabilities. The Vralikic's delegation sat across from the humans in stunned silence as Captain Reiner explained their history. After the Grath incident of 2183, Earth's leadership established Project Baskerville, a multi-generational initiative to ensure humanity would never again be vulnerable to technologically superior species, Reiner explained, displaying historical footage of the devastation wrought during that first disastrous contact. We learned that in the cosmos, appearing weak invites predation. Nivendak, the Vralikic's diplomatic attaché, leaned forward. But the sheer scope of your deception, everything we observed suggested humans were at least a century behind Vralikic's technology. Dr. Karishmalal, the Thermopylae's chief scientist, smiled. That was by design. Our actual technological development followed a different evolutionary path than most spacefaring species. While you perfected quantum manipulation through crystalline matrices, we explored quantum entanglement through organic synthetic interfaces. She activated a holographic display showing the inner workings of a Raven drone, a seamless blend of advanced materials and what appeared to be cultivated neural tissue. Is that brain matter? Drozax asked, horrified. Synthetic neurological tissue, Dr. Law corrected. We discovered that consciousness itself is the most efficient quantum computer in existence. Our breakthrough came when we created programmable synthetic neurons that could interface directly with technology. Commander Vasquez continued the explanation. The Odin System Organic Digital Intelligence Network that controls our ravens isn't an AI in the traditional sense. It's a distributed consciousness that can perceive and manipulate quantum states directly. That's how we bypassed your shields and interfaced with your systems so easily. The Vralakix delegates chittered nervously among themselves. Their species had always considered biological components inferior to pure technology, a philosophical stance that had clearly left them blind to alternative advancement paths. But why reveal this now? Drozax demanded. You could have maintained your deception. Captain Reiner's expression grew somber. Because we've detected something far more concerning than your territorial expansion. Our long-range quantum sensors have identified disturbances in subspace that match theoretical profiles of a threat we've been monitoring, one we believe threatens all intelligent life in this sector. He activated another holographic display showing massive distortions in the fabric of space-time approximately 12 light-years beyond Vralakix territory. We call them the Void Heralds, Reiner continued. And based on our models, they'll reach your homeworld in approximately 7 months. Drozax's compound eyes widened in shock. And you believe your technology can oppose this threat? Not alone, Reiner admitted, but perhaps together. Your crystalline quantum technology, complemented by our organic synthetic interfaces, might create defenses neither of us could develop independently. Nivendak looked at his commander. If what they're saying is true, we need verification, Drozax interrupted. Our scientists must examine this data. Of course, Reiner agreed. But understand that time is limited. This is why we're revealing our true capabilities now. Humanity has learned that survival in this universe requires cooperation as much as it demands strength. As the Vralakix delegation huddled in urgent discussion, Lieutenant Ndlovu approached Captain Reiner. Sir, do you think they'll believe us about the Void Heralds? Reiner watched the aliens with careful consideration. They will once we show them the full sensor logs from the Proxima incident. Sometimes, Commander, a common enemy is the fastest path to alliance. The fate of both species now hung in the balance of trust, something neither had expected when their sensors first locked onto each other just days before. The observation deck of the Thermopylae offered a panoramic view of the combined human Vralakix fleet assembling at the edge of the Tau Ceti system. 47 ships of varying designs formed a defensive perimeter around a massive central structure, the Quantum Nexus, a joint technological marvel created in just under 6 months of frantic collaboration. Captain Reiner stood beside Commander Drozax, both leaders watching as the final components locked into place. The Vralakix commander's exoskeleton had dulled with stress, but his posture remained proud. Your scientists were correct about the Void Heralds, Drozax admitted, mandibles clicking softly. When we detected their probe ship consuming outposts X9, my people finally understood the existential threat we face. Reiner nodded grimly. Consuming is the right word. They don't invade or conquer. They convert all matter and energy to expand their consciousness. An entire planet becomes just another processing node in their hive mind. And yet, without your synthetic organic interface technology, we would have had no way to communicate with them, to understand their nature, Drozax acknowledged. The viewport dimmed automatically as a brilliant flash signaled the activation of the Quantum Nexus. The massive structure, combining Vralakix crystalline technology with human neural interfaces, hummed with power as it established a quantum entanglement field around the fleet. Lieutenant Ndlovu approached with a data slate. Captain, all ships report ready status. The Nexus is fully operational, and the entanglement field is stable. And the bait? Reiner asked. The quantum signature is broadcasting at maximum power. If the Void Heralds can detect energy sources across light years, as we believe, they'll be here within hours. Drozax's color shifted to a deep blue. What humans had learned was his species' indication of resolute determination. To think we nearly went to war with each other, only to face extinction together. That's the cosmic joke, isn't it? Reiner replied with a grim smile. Sentient species spend millennia fighting among themselves, only to discover the universe holds far greater threats. The bridge comm chimed. Captain, long-range sensors are detecting subspace distortions. Multiple signatures matching Void Herald configuration. Positions. Reiner demanded. Emerging from quantum foam, exactly where Dr. Law predicted. They're taking the bait. Drozax turned to face the human captain fully. Your plan places enormous trust in my people. If any single Vralakix ship fails to maintain synchronization with the Nexus, then we all die, Reiner finished matter-of-factly. But that's the point, Commander. Either we trust each other absolutely, or we fall separately. The view screen shifted to tactical display as 5 massive void black shapes materialized at the edge of the system, each dwarfing even the largest capital ships in either fleet. Tendrils of dark energy probed outward from the Void Heralds, sensing, searching. All ships maintain position, Reiner ordered calmly. Let them come to us. The tension on the bridge was palpable as the Void Heralds approached, drawn by the irresistible energy signature of the quantum nexus. When the lead entity crossed the predetermined threshold, Reiner and Drozax exchanged a single nod. Execute synthesis protocol, they commanded simultaneously. Every ship in the combined fleet suddenly unleashed streams of energy, not as weapons aimed at the Void Heralds, but as conduits feeding directly into the quantum nexus. The massive structure began to pulse with blinding light as it channeled the power through the synthetic neural matrix at its core. The Void Heralds sensed the trap too late. The nexus didn't attack them, it embraced them, establishing quantum entanglement links directly into their consciousness structure. On the Thermopylae bridge, the neural interface specialists worked feverishly at their stations, their minds partially merged with the Odin system as they navigated the alien thought patterns of the Void Heralds. We've established connection, the lead specialist reported, voice strained with effort. Uploading the cognitive virus now. The Void Heralds writhed in what appeared to be agony as the carefully designed program, a hybrid of Vralakix quantum mathematics and human consciousness theory, rewrote their fundamental perception of reality. Rather than existing by consuming other life forms, the virus offered an alternative, symbiosis. Minutes stretched into hours as the battle raged not in physical space, but across the quantum realm of pure consciousness. The combined fleet remained locked in formation, every ship straining to maintain the energy flow into the nexus despite failing systems and overheating cores. Finally, the lead Void Herald entity stopped thrashing. Its dark tendrils retracted, and its form began to shift, portions becoming translucent, then luminescent. It's working, Drozax whispered in disbelief. One by one, each Void Herald transformed, their consciousness restructured by the virus. What had been entities of pure consumption became something new, beings capable of communication and coexistence. The quantum nexus powered down as the last herald completed its transformation. An eerie silence fell across the bridge as everyone waited. Then a voice, not heard through ears, but felt directly in the mind of every being in the fleet. We understand now. We see the error of our existence. Consumption without creation is entropy. You have shown us another path. Captain Reiner stepped forward. Will you help us contact the rest of your kind? There are thousands more coming. We will become the bridge between worlds. What was meant to be your extinction will become your expansion. As the transformed heralds departed to spread the cognitive virus among their kind, Reiner turned to Drozax, extending his hand in the human gesture of partnership. It seems locking sensors onto a human warship was the best mistake your people ever made, Commander. Drozax pressed his appendage against Reiner's hand, his color shifting to bright gold, the Vralakix expression of profound hope. Perhaps the universe conspires to bring together those who need each other most, the alien commander replied. Not through peace, but through conflict that reveals our true potential. Together, they watched as the transformed heralds vanished into quantum space, not as conquerors, but as messengers carrying the promise of a new kind of existence that neither species could have achieved alone. In the vast darkness between stars, an unprecedented alliance had been forged, one that would reshape the future of all sentient life in the galaxy.